In today's video, I'll answer your question, what is the spiritual gift of interpreting tongues? Then afterward, as always, I'll share some helpful resources, so stick around until the end. Along with the gift of speaking in tongues is another spiritual gift mentioned in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 10, the gift of interpreting tongues. The gift of interpreting tongues is the ability to translate a foreign language into the language of the hearers. The gift of interpreting tongues is a separate gift, but it seems to have been used in conjunction with the gift of speaking in tongues. The gift of tongues was the supernatural ability to speak a foreign language that the tongue speaker had never learned. We see this gift in use in Acts chapter 2, verses 4 through 12, as the Jews in Jerusalem heard the gospel preached in a wide variety of languages. A person with the gift of interpreting tongues then could understand what a tongue speaker was saying, even though he did not know the language being spoken. This lack of prior knowledge of the language is what distinguishes the spiritual gift from the natural gift of being able to understand and speak a variety of languages. The tongue's interpreter would hear the tongue speaker and then communicate the message to anyone present who could not understand the language. The goal was that all could understand and benefit from the truth being spoken. According to the Apostle Paul, and in agreement with the tongues described in Acts, the gift of tongues was meant to communicate God's message directly to another person in his or her native language. Of course, if those present could not understand the language being spoken, the tongues were useless, and that's what made the tongue's interpreter, or tongue's translator, necessary. The goal was the edification of the church, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verses 5 and 12. One of the problems in the church of Corinth was that the tongue speakers were speaking out in the service, exercising their gift of tongues, with no interpreter and with no one present who spoke that language. The result was that the tongue speaker was commanding attention, but his words were meaningless since no one could understand him. Paul strongly advised that all use of tongues in the church must be interpreted. In the church, I would rather speak 5 intelligible words to instruct others than 10,000 words in a tongue. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 19. There was no benefit to other church members in hearing something they could not understand. Exercising the gift of tongues in church simply for the sake of showing everyone that you had the gift was conceited and unprofitable. Paul told the Corinthians that if 2 or 3 tongue speakers wanted to speak in a meeting, then a spiritually gifted tongues interpreter must also be present. In fact, if there is no interpreter, the speaker should keep quiet in the church and speak to himself and to God. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 28. The temporal nature of the gift of tongues implies that the gift of interpretation of tongues was also of a temporal nature. If the gift of speaking in tongues were active in the church today, it would be performed in agreement with Scripture. It would be a real and intelligible language. It would be for the purpose of communicating God's word to a person of another language. And it would be done in a fitting and orderly way. For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace, as in all the congregations of the Lord's people. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. Want to learn more? Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Visit gotquestions.org for more great content and check out the details section below this video. There you'll find one book I recommend along with several links related to questions. If you'd like to learn about Bible Munch or if you're interested in bite-sized devotionals, subscribe to Bible Munch on YouTube. It's linked right here. Now remember, got questions? The Bible has answers and we'll help you find them.